Eastern Orthodox Christianity, the Byzantine rites. It is here in St. Nazianz, Wisconsin, where this practice is held. This is the Holy Resurrection Seminary, and this is where the monks pray. As a commitment to a monastic life, the job of a monk is to only pray. It is a life of strict silence and fasting. Today, behind these walls of this Holy Resurrection Monastery, a small handful of Byzantine Catholic monks from around the world have dedicated themselves to this life of prayer. But this place has a very eerie history. For this is the story of the curse of the Uncorrupted. Hey gang, we are here, St. Nazianz. St. Nazianz. It's a little town in Wisconsin. It's just west of Manitowoc. And we're at this seminary here, way in the back by the cemetery. And I gotta tell you, this is a really spooky place. And I don't know why, I feel like I'm being watched. Now there are monks here, a small handful of monks, maybe 9, maybe 10, that are praying somewhere, cloistered way over there, but the whole scene here is unreal. Now here's the cemetery, right here, and there's a mausoleum in the back. So we're going to be talking about the cursed man, the cursed priest, the guy who founded all of this, Father Ambrose Oshwald. Yeah, we're going to go back to 1854, and I'm going to tell you the story. Look at all these gravestones. I would imagine these are all priests going back who knows far, but we're going to take a look. We are going to check it out as I tell you the story. Yeah, the most recent burials up front here. (2019, 2018), here's 2020. Father Elliot Netz. Estes. I'm not sure what that stands for, but I do know that this is the Byzantine Catholic monks here that are here. Father Richard Gagnon, 2017. And the older graves, you can see the crosses up there. We'll see how far back those go, but let's go back to 1854. And we're going to go back to the Black Forest in Germany. It's a small town there, and that's where Father Ambrose Oshwald was. He was a priest there at a parish, but during that time, he was being persecuted. He was suspended from his duties, and they were accusing him of mystical, prophetic, and heretical works. So, not sure what he was doing, but he was doing something that they did not like there in the Black Forest. What we do know is that Father Ambrose left, and the congregation uprooted itself and followed him here to Wisconsin. He founded this place. They made their way here. There was a 1920s newspaper article that did a little article. They said a divine white heifer led the group to the sacred new land. It's kind of like the Mormons, guys. They were looking for their own little spot to disappear, and this is where they came. This would become known as St. Nazianz. This place right here. Well, they formed a society here. They called it the Association. And as common, it was based on everybody having everything in common, no ownership of anything, share everything, common property, working without pay to support the community. And it was working for them. It was working for them for many years. They thrived, but in 1873, things took a turn. Of course, they were all reliant on Father Ambrose. Now he was 71 and he became very sick. He was dying. There was a man named Anton Still who stayed with the Father while he was sick. He was comforting the dying man day in and day out. And he said that at that time, he said, Father Ambrose was gesturing to invisible guests. There were a number of times, he wrote years later, I had observed that he, with closed eyes, when there was no one else in the room but I alone, would extend his hands in blessing, and then with his hands signal someone away. And yet I saw no one in the room. Throughout the night of February 26th, as Father lay dying, there were reports of mysterious pounding on the walls of his room, as well as many of the residents throughout this little town. Father Ambrose died the next morning, and the sounds stopped. Well, there's more to this story we're going to talk about. Now, I haven't been up here. We're just scoping this out together. There is a statue of Father Francis Jordan, who was, says, the founder of the Society of the Divine Savior, 1848 to 1918, Rome. Okay, I'm not a practicing Catholic or Christian, so I'm sure many of you know who this is. Remarkable sculpture in marble. What's interesting is the detail and the imperfections, the moles, right, on his face. Salvatorians of the USA province buried elsewhere. Now, this is called Loretto Cemetery, from what I remember. And it looks like they keep up with that. Father Joseph Wambach just passed away this year. Now, JFK Prep, 1968 to 1982. We're going to talk about that. To lead the land we love. As the Salvatorians watched over us, the alumni of JFK Prep would like to watch over them. Like a hole here. There must have been something in there that was maybe taken. So it looks like there's a chapel up there. And this is the mausoleum. As the sun breaks here. So what happened after Father Ambrose died? Well, said there was a judge from Manitowoc who came here. He viewed Father Ambrose's body the day before the funeral, and he was taken aback by the liveliness of the corpse, warning not to bury it, because he thought that Father Ambrose was not dead. Of course, the tomb here had not yet been completed, so the coffin was placed in view of a crypt beneath the altar of the old church, which I'm going to say is probably well, that looks, yeah, maybe that's the old church. It's kind of a stucco pattern. Yeah, it could be it. Must be. It says high on the hill. There was a priest by the name of Father Mutz, along with a group called the Oshwald Sisters. They noted that his body had not decayed and there was no odor of corruption. Father Ambrose, his eyes had sunken in, but his skin had a lifelike complexion. His hair and fingernails were growing. Now, I know we did an episode and everyone says, your hair and fingernails don't grow. But it's just because the skin shrinks, it gives that appearance. But hey, who knows? Here's a stone with his name. Yeah. Founder of St. Nazianz, and it says Geb 17, 1801. Some German. Yeah, this is where he's at. He is in there. They washed his face and noted that it served to give him an even more natural complexion. So for the next 63 days after his death, he was up there, and then he was moved to this burial vault here. Coffin was opened again on October 4th, 1926, when it was being moved into this new stone mausoleum here. We call this Loretto Hill. Now, there was a local health officer. His name was Dr. L.W. Gregory. And he came out here, and they opened the coffin then. There were other members of the clergy here, and they looked through a glass cover. They could see the corpse of Father Ambrose, and he looked like he was in remarkably good shape for 53 years. His skin had become somewhat shriveled and sallow, but his body and vestments were very much still intact. The iron on his coffin had rusted and fallen away long ago, but he was incorrupt. He was incorrupt. Well, let's take a look inside. If we can, I don't know. I'm guessing this is going to be locked. But we can only hope, and yes, it is open. All right. Ah, there it is. The crypt of Father Ambrose Oshwald. Look at that. As the door closes on me, I don't like that. And there's no getting out of here with these bars. Okay, how do we, I don't like this door closing on me. I don't know what I'm gonna do is, oh man. Okay, cool. Just in case, I'm just gonna be safe. All right, that one's gonna stay open. And that one is not. Anyway, so we have a concrete block structure. We have his picture back there, which we've seen. That might be the original. Yeah, and there's his crypt right here. He's in there. I wonder what he looks like now. Now, there's no viewing plate or anything. He's completely sealed in there. Looks like. You know, I have to tell you, no disrespect, Catholics, Christians, but this picture reminds me of the movie Carrie, and this picture I've seen before, and I don't like it. Enough said. I'm sure there's meaning to that. Anybody knows. The lock. Oh, there's no reason to go in there. There's the verse. Maybe someone can translate that for us. German. Yes, from Germany. Well, guys, let's take a walk. This is in the back. We'll take a walk back towards the highway, and there's a school there with some dubious history, supposedly. And we're going to just kind of explore together. So let me put this back. Be very respectful here. You don't want to get locked in here, guys, let me tell you. Rest in peace, Father Ambrose Oswald. Whoops. Okay, sorry about that. No, I think we'll just do that. Okay. So, yeah. I guess we could go back down the road, but there were some interesting things over here that I think we can look at in the meantime. Yeah, let's go this way. Not sure. We should check out the chapel. What do you think? Just to, if it's open, it would be nice to see inside. All right. There's a front building we're going to check out that's, I think, was the school. I love these adventures, guys. I don't know what we're going to find, but we are going to find it together. This looks more modern, or maybe it's like a cupola or a bell tower. That could be original. That actually looks original. This has to be the original, yeah. So it looks like, yeah, this is locked. So this is, yeah, this is it, because look at it, it's a historic landmark. Now look at, there's all over the place here. I see these altars. What do you suppose these are? Are these, maybe they had the pictures in here of the 10 or 12 steps of the crucifixion. I know there's a name for it. Again, guys, out of respect, I am not going to try to guess what that's called. I knew it when I was little. My parents were Catholic, but perhaps you can tell us. Is that what these are? And if so, what was that called? You see them in all the churches against the wall up high, all the 12 or the 10 steps of Jesus's execution. There is a execution, crucifixion. And I guess it was an execution. So we've got two paths. We can go this way. We're going to go this way. Down we go. So we're going to see, we're definitely on the way. I want to see this building, this school, this front building. And the church, I don't know if we can get in there, but it looks abandoned and broken down. A beautiful church. So the Salvatorian priests and brothers came here in 1896 to continue what Father Ambrose had started. The Father's remains in this mausoleum we saw was started, and all the priests that were here are, of course, buried there. We saw. Now, there's a legend that after Father Ambrose died, the state of Wisconsin took a huge amount of land, I think some 3,000 acres, away from the colony here. They owned a lot of land. And it said that it provoked his wrath, his spirit. He cursed the town. He cursed the town right here. There was a massive tornado that came through here. And it did, well, along with the neighboring town of Chilton, caused $100 million in damage. And they say it's the wrath of Father Ambrose. I can only wonder. It says the whole town, I'd read, that was cursed and haunted. And this JFK prep school is also haunted. There were some bad things they said that happened there. Abuse. You know, we've talked about that at some of the schools. The one in Florida, the asylum in Minnesota. It's supposed to be a very haunted place. That's when they renamed it to JFK. I'm not sure what that stands for, but. And ever since there was no funds in the 80s, they weren't able to do anything. They just shut it down, and it's been dormant ever since. Said to be haunted by the tortured soul of kids who suffered at the hands of abusive nuns. They say that there was a student who committed suicide at the school. They say you can hear the students laughing in the hallways. Residual energies, guys. There have been ghost hunters here. Someone, I guess, did confirm that there was a child who committed suicide here. That is, I guess, on record. So yeah, this is probably what I think I was right. So this looks like the first or last one. This would be the last one, right, guys? And let me just look around the back, see if it's constructed the same way. Yeah. Okay. So that is what these were or are. But all the pictures are missing. You have to wonder, did people steal them? Oh no, here's like an old shed. Now I don't want to go exploring. I mean, this I want to respect the people that are still here. I don't want to start poking. I think, going to the cemetery is okay. Pay respects, but I don't want to really just start barging into places. Now, a church as a sanctuary, I think, is somewhere you can go at. Churches always welcome you in. So we will look at the church, see if that door's open. I'm not going to try and get in the school. Again, private property there. And there is a sign out front here. I wasn't sure about getting in here and all that, but there's a sign, no trespassing after dusk and before sunrise. So that leads me to believe that you can. And I saw some bike riders coming through, so I think we're okay to be in here. But like I said, I don't want to be just like going into places and opening doors that we shouldn't be opening. Well, the sun's coming out. Wow. So check this out. Looks like this here is an add-on, maybe from the 80s, to the original church. Boy, this is beautiful. Look at that. Look at the steeple, bell tower. Wonder when the last time those bells rung. Small rose window. Looks like the Pope, one of the popes, giving a blessing. Yeah. Oh, I bet it's beautiful in there. Huh? That rose window. Yeah, I'm sure the kids try to come here at night. I could just see. But yeah, if you're going to have paranormal experiences, this is the place. Let's see if we can see in here. Not really. Can't really get a... Oh yeah, I see the pews. Oh, too bad. Too bad we can't go in. That would be neat to see. You see all the pews. Pretty dusty in there. Look at just imagine the workmanship. So there's stained glass here. It was protected by some outside glass. Sadly, I can hear birds in there, like pigeons. But sadly, I see that stained glass there is broken. I guess it could be worse, right? Vandalism. Ooh, look at that. So it looks like a big add-on here. That might be I'm guessing those were the dorms up ahead here. Oh, this is really spooky. So this was maybe the monastery where the priests and nuns were. Oh yeah, there are pigeons living in there. They're all over the place. Looks like a burned out ruin. But I don't think there was a fire. Just in disrepair. It says no trespassing, so we're not going to try and go in there. Oh, that's spooky. Let's check out the old school. Yeah, just imagine all of the classes and all of the students and all of the things that happen in here, good and bad. We know there had to be some bad things happening. 1938, Cornerstone. Kind of reminds me of Father Flanagan, right? Boys Town. Different story there, guys. Diametrically opposed. Yeah, Salvatorian seminary. Oh, this is seminary. So they weren't just going to school here. This was the teachings. So the whole place must have just gone under, right? And at some point, the Byzantine Christian monks came in here and took over. Yeah. Very interesting. All right, guys. Well, that's the story from Wisconsin here. I'm going to head out. I'm definitely creeped out. Not to get over dramatic, but I don't get good vibes here. So I think Father Ambrose Oshwald is still here. I can feel his presence. Happy Halloween.